Hello, friends. Welcome to my house. Welcome to my practice. I hope that you're all well. I hope that you're all taking time to check in with yourself. I've been doing a lot of journaling and a lot of reflection right now, and things are kind of intense. It's a wild time to be alive right now. I'm thankful to have my practice, to be very frank, in a time that can be so flighty and uncertain and chaotic, this whirlwind that we're living in right now. How important it is to find that practice that can ground us and root us and anchor us and keep us so still during a time when it's so easy to just come unhinged. So that being said, this is my home practice. I am at home, as I'm sure most of you are, if you have the ability to be. So you will probably hear a few of the following things: a child, a dog toy, a cat, two cats, just you name it, you'll probably hear it, but it's going to be okay. That's just how home practice looks sometimes. I'm a mom, and there are lots of little animals that live with us, so I do my best, but this right now is not a time that I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning to practice. It's just not. And I'll tell you why. So in Chinese medicine, there's an energy that lives in us that is called your qi. Much like in yoga, we refer to it as our prana, this energy that lives in us. And also in Chinese medicine, you have your wei qi. And your wei qi is like this protective force field that lives around you. And there they go. But there's this protective force field that lives around you. And there are lots of things that we can do to keep this protective force field robust and strong. This is what gives us our immunity and helps to keep us well. And of course, there are environmental factors that will often poke little holes into our wei qi, like viruses, bacteria, seasonal allergies, lots of those things, lots of environmental factors can poke into our wei qi and make us ill or unwell. They bark if the wind changes direction, so bear with me. But there are things that we can do to help keep that wei qi, that energy, this protective force field robust, yeah? So that would be eating nutrient-rich foods. Eating foods that are good for us, that are giving us the minerals and the vitamins and the nutrients that we need to be healthy. Avoiding stimulants, avoiding all the sugar and all the alcohol, which can be difficult when you've got your children home until ... And then also, it's important to have rest. So maybe practicing at 4 o'clock in the morning is not where we need to be right now. We need that extra hour of rest. And then finally, to practice our yoga, to move our bodies, to build that internal heat. So important. So when we think about our wei qi or our immunity, those are the things that we need to be doing to help. So that being said, I'm not practicing right now so early in the morning. I am trying to sleep as much as I can. Even that has been limited just with all of the uncertainty about everything that's happening. So if you are also finding yourself not being able to sleep, I understand, I feel you. I'll be recording a yoga nidra soon, and hopefully that will help some of your insomnia or some of your anxiety. In the meantime, I encourage you to find the yoga nidra somewhere online and listen and practice that. It will help. It will truly help. So we are going to do a slow flow. I don't even know if I had introduced myself. I just said, "Hey friends, you all know me." But I am Megan. I'm a yoga teacher in North Carolina. I work for several wonderful studios, and this this is our way of reaching our students during this time when we're unable to be face-to-face. And I just want you all to know that I miss teaching so much, and it's been less than 24 hours since I taught a live class. So, well, since I'm recording this. So just know I miss it. I miss sharing with you. I have all these great ideas and great plans and classes that I have, and I just miss being able to share them with all of my students. I miss hearing about you guys and how you're doing, and I'm sure that will only get worse as time goes on. So I'm thrilled to share my practice with you today. I will make it as accessible as I possibly can, offering modifications and variations for all of our poses. So if you're very seasoned or if you are starting something new because you need to do something right now, this practice will be accessible for you. I'm thrilled that you're going to take the time to watch it. I hope that you'll move. I have my yoga mat out, so if you have a mat or a towel, I would encourage you to grab that. I have an extra blanket. I like to have a little bit of extra padding under my sits bones and under my knees for some poses. And I have some blocks to use as I move also. So if you have a blanket or a towel, if you've got some big books, a brick, I mean, almost anything that you can use to give yourself a little bit extra support in some of our poses, if you have that available. Also a pillow, maybe, if you have a pillow available. That would be great too. And then when you're ready, we'll go ahead and get started, making our way to our easy seat, Sukhasana. That can be crisscross applesauce. That can be on your knees with your legs extended out in front of you, one leg in front of the other, whatever feels best for you here. We're just going to begin here today. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to cover our heart space. We're going to take our right hand and we're going to bring it to our belly. We're going to feel our shoulders begin to soften and drift away from our ears. We're going to close our eyes. We're going to take a big breath in through our nose. And a big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. One more big breath in. In, out. Begin to feel your sits bones take root, anchoring to your mat, supported by the earth or the floor, wherever you are. Begin to deepen your inhales, feeling the belly, maybe bringing the breath all the way down to the pelvic floor as you inhale. Then begin to lengthen your exhales, breathing out slightly longer than you are breathing in. The breath is one of the only things that has no emotional value attached to it. We can stop breathing, hold our breath. Maybe our breath speeds up when we're anxious, but we have to breathe again. We will breathe again. Being present with the breath and listening to it and feeling it as it moves through our bodies allows us to not live in the past, not go too far into the future. It keeps us in the present moment. It connects us to everything and everyone, the breath. And so while we begin our yoga practice here, centering and bringing our awareness and our attention to our breath, it's also important to remember to use this practice during your day, especially now in time of such uncertainty. When you start to feel that worry about the future, connect to the breath. The breath doesn't live in the future. The breath lives right now, second by second, moment by moment. We'll take 2 more big breaths in And 2 more big breaths out. And then staying where you are, keeping your eyes closed if that's possible. Begin to inhale and lift your arms high overhead, drawing your palms together and guiding your thumbs down the midline of your body, stopping in prayer at heart center, Anjali Mudra. Press the tips of your thumbs into your heart space here and set your intention for practice today, whatever that looks like for you. We'll blink our eyes open here. Take a big breath in to lift your arms tall overhead. Exhale for a seated twist. Drop that right hand behind you. Left hand will come to the top of your right knee or your right thigh. We're going to take a 2-part breath here. So inhale, sit up nice and straight. Feel your spine begin to expand. Exhale to twist a little deeper. Inhale to grow tall. Exhale to twist. Inhale to bring your arms back up. Look up. Exhale your hands to the left. Left hand drops behind you. Right hand comes to the top of your left knee or your left thigh. Inhale to sit nice and straight. Exhale to twist a little bit deeper. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, grow tall. Exhale, twist. Slowly make your way back to center. Unwinding, lift your arms. Exhale and drop your hands in your lap. We're going to clasp our fingers here. Our palms are open, our thumbs are wide. Once the hands land in the lap, we'll take a big breath in. Begin to press our arms in front of us. Excuse me, I have to separate my cats. So sorry. Oh, we're good. Okay. Clasp your hands. Palms are open, thumbs are wide. We're going to inhale and bring our arms out in front of us. Exhale to press our palms away from us, stretching into the shoulders, stretching into the neck, pressing those hands away, finding a little bit of movement in the spine here. And then very slowly start to lift those fingertips up, pressing the palms towards the ceiling. Look up, take a long stretch here. And then we'll exhale to roll over our ankles, over our lap into a tabletop position. Now, if you need a blanket here, because we're going to be on our knees for a moment, bring your blanket to your mat, placing it underneath your knees here for a little extra support. We have these really pretty hardwoods, but they're not very nice to our knees, right? So tabletop position. We want to make sure that our wrists are directly under our shoulders. We want to make sure that our knees are tracking directly under our hips. The tops of our feet are pressed into the mat. Our toenails are pressed into the mat. Staying here. Now, if you've had some ankle injuries or some ankle issues, just be mindful here that we are going to press ourselves up onto the tops of our feet. So this one may not be for you. We want to make sure that our core is activated, so we're going to do it 2 ways. The first way, maybe a little bit of extra pressure on the ankles, so just be mindful. So when you're ready, good ankles, we're going to start to press ourselves up onto the tops of our feet, lifting our knees off of the mat. Feel the activation of the core here. Notice where it is. You're activated, it's engaged, that belly button is lifted. Slowly make your way back onto your knees. Now, if you've had ankle issues, this one's for you. It's for everyone, but specifically if you were unable to come up onto the tops of your feet, we'll practice this one. So go ahead and tuck your toes and start to lift your knees to hovering off of the mat. Stay here for 2 breaths. Feel that belly button engaged here. Slowly come all the way back down. Excuse my dogs. Untuck your toes. And then keeping that engagement of the belly here, We're going to begin our cat-cow flow. So nothing gets really soft, but we're going to work on the muscles of our back, yeah? So as we inhale, we're going to drop our bellies, lift our head, neck, and chest. Cow. Exhale to round our spine, press our shoulders towards the pinky sides of our hands. Cat. Inhale to your cow. Exhale to your cat. Now be mindful when we come into our cow that we're not dumping into the shoulders. We're pressing our chest out and away from us as we look up. And we're exhaling to that angry cat. Inhale to our cow. Exhale to that cat. One more time. Big breath in. Find cow. Exhale to your angry cat. Ooh. It's fine. Go ahead and find a point of stillness here. And we're going to make this table a little bit dynamic. Now my cat's getting ready to have a fit. She doesn't have a hairball. Since we had her, she has an allergy to pet dander. And so she gets these little coughing fits. No hairballs, just a little fit. And she gets under control. So she's fine. She sounds like she's dying, but it's okay. All right. So we're going to move our table. Y'all, this is the 5th time that I've tried to record this, and that's when I was like, you know what? It is what it is. This is how it's like. We're going to go with it. Okay, so dynamic tabletop position. Go ahead and extend that left leg out long behind you and reach your right fingertips long in front of you. That back foot is flexed, and we're going to square our hips. So we're going to bring the pinky toe side of that back foot down towards the mat. We don't want to wonk open. We want to keep our hips square to the mat. Extend that right arm long in front of you. Take a big breath in. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale to extend. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale to extend. One more time, knee to elbow. Let's find an awkward airplane while we're right here. So we're going to follow our breath, breathing in to grow in and out longer through our spine. And then we're going to exhale to send that left leg out to the left, right arm out to the right. Keep that left leg lifted. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to your tabletop. Go ahead and shake that left wrist out. We'll get set for our opposite side. Shake that left wrist out. I see you. And then when you're ready, we'll extend that right leg behind us, making sure to square our hips. Left arm will extend out in front of us. We're reaching here like we're being pulled in opposite directions. Take a big breath in. Exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale to extend. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale, we'll do that one more time. Exhale, pull it in. Inhale to extend. Let's find an awkward airplane. Left arm comes out to the left. Right leg comes out to the right. Keep that right leg lifted and left arm out. Inhale to come back to center. Exhale to your tabletop position. Perfect. Shake that right wrist out. Let's stay here and find extended puppy dog pose. So we're going to press the tops of our feet into our mat. Keep our knees and our hips where they are. And then very slowly start to walk those hands out long in front of you. You can come onto your forehead. You can come onto your chin or your chest. Whatever feels best for you here. Now you stretch the shoulders and the chest. Very slowly start to press yourself all the way back up. And then from here, we're going to come into Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Tuck your toes Lift your knees and send your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a moment once you've landed here and press your hands into your mat like you're pressing the floor away from you. Pedal your feet. Bend into those knees. Start to wake your hips up, wake those hamstrings up. Notice how everything's doing here. We'll find three-legged dog on our right side, sweeping those right toes behind us. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a big breath in. Exhale, knee to nose, cheetah pose. Inhale, send it back. Exhale, right knee to your right tricep. Inhale to send it back. Twisted cheetah. So sorry. Twisted cheetah, right knee, left elbow. Wasn't sure what that noise was I was hearing. Inhale, send it back. Exhale to your lizard pose. So bring that right hand closer to the center of your mat and step that right foot wide to the outside of your right pinky. We're going to drop the back knee here, untuck the back toes. Once you've landed, you can come onto your forearms if that feels good, making this a really nice hip opener, working deep into that front hip. Or you can stay up on your hands and maybe take that right hand and press into the right knee, coming onto the edge of the right foot. Working into the groin, into the adductor of that front leg, definitely into the hip, into the glute. We have lots of lymph nodes that live in our groin. And so when we come into those poses in yoga that work to release the groin, the adductors, we're working to release the energy that's become stagnant in our lymph nodes as well, which will help to build immunity. So this is a great pose for that, this lizard pose, Uttanapishtasana. And then slowly come back to center. Come back onto the sole of that right foot. Tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. We're going to step back slowly to our high plank. Bring that back, or that front leg back. And then very slowly from here, we're going to shift our hips up and back. Downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And take a big breath in. Exhale, send your heart towards your thighs. And then we'll inhale to three-legged dog on our left side. Ekapada Adho Mukha Svanasana. In three-legged dog, we want to make sure that that left foot is flexed. Our toes are pointing towards the mat. We're not walking open here. Take a big breath in. Exhale, knee to nose, cheetah pose. Inhale, three-legged dog. Exhale, left knee, left tricep, sorry. Inhale, send it back. Exhale your left knee to your right elbow. Inhale to send it back. Lizard pose, left side. Bring that left hand closer to the center of your mat, and then step that left foot wide to the outside of your left pinky. Once you've landed here, find your variation. Drop that back knee, untuck your back toes, come onto the outer edge of that left foot. Maybe you take your left hand and press into the left knee just slightly. Maybe you come onto your forearms here. Whatever feels best for you, we'll take that movement here. Finding your breath. And then slowly come back. Come back onto the sole of that left foot as you tuck your back toes. Lift your back knee. Slowly step back to your high plank. And then from here, shift your hips back, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. Come to your tiptoes and make your way to the top of your mat. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Be heavy here. Allow your arms to be heavy. Allow your head to be heavy.
Maybe grab for opposite elbows if that feels good. You can be zipped up, or maybe your feet are slightly wider. Whatever feels comfortable and is the most accessible for you here, yeah? Take some time to nod your head yes, and shake your head no. Our lymph movement in the body goes from the feet up, which is counter to how we are typically living our life, yeah? So legs up the wall is a great way to keep that lymph moving in the right direction. And our lymph is what, cleans us out. And also forward fold's a great idea too, because we're continuing for that movement to come from the hips all the way up to the chest and to the head. Another great way to keep us healthy. Go ahead and release your arms here. Inhale to your flat back, half lift. Exhale to fold. Very slowly, roll your spine all the way up. Lift your arms, look up. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale your hands together in prayer at heart center, Anjali Mudra. We'll take a big breath in here. And a big breath out. Big breath in. And out. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward, forward fold. Step your right foot back on your mat, low lunge. Let's come into a runner stretch before we move. So we're going to drop that back knee and untuck our back toes. We're going to bring our sits bones backwards to our heel as we straighten our front leg. That left leg will straighten. If you need a deeper twist in your left leg, put your hand on the outer edge of your left foot and gently twist the left foot towards the left. So we're just putting a little bit of pressure on our left foot, moving it kind of out towards the outer left side of our mat. You should feel that stretch happening more along the side of your leg, up towards your hamstring and into your glutes. So that we can bring our sits bones lower, but the idea here is that we're bowing forward, really stretching and activating that front leg. We'll slowly come back up here to our low lunge. Hands are on either side of our front foot. Tuck your back toes and lift your back knee. I'm going to turn around in a minute. I will land with my back to you. I'm so sorry. We're going to come into our warrior two from our low lunge. So we're going to pivot that back foot down at a 90-degree angle. And once we've landed there, we're going to blossom our arms up and open, warrior two. Yeah? Okay, I'm going to switch sides here, so we can know what's going on. So warrior two, we want to be on the same tightrope in warrior two. We want the heel of our front foot to be right in line with the arch of our back foot. We want to be activated through the adductors here. So we're pretending that our front knee is trying to come backwards, yeah, to help to activate that front leg. Bending deeply is great. We just want to make sure that our front knee is tracking over our front ankle and not over our front ankle. And we can find that sometimes when we start to bend a little bit deeper to build a little bit more heat. That front knee is tracking open towards the pinky toe side of your front foot. Don't let your front foot do all the work. Remember, you have a back foot that needs to be working just as hard. From our warrior two, we're going to find exalted warrior. So we're going to bring that front hand to our back leg as we rotate our back arm up towards the ceiling. Keep breathing. Inhale back to your warrior two. Exhale to your peaceful warrior. We'll reach forward, flip our palm, and take it back. Warrior two. Following the breath, on your next exhale, we'll come into extended side angle pose. In extended side angle pose, your front arm can be on top of your front thigh or long beside your front calf, depending on how much space you have in that front hip and that front quad.
Inhale back to your warrior two. Go slow. We should be feeling the heat building from our feet now, yeah? And then we'll straighten that front leg, reach forward, fold forward to find Trikonasana, triangle pose. In triangle pose, we want to roll our shoulders open so our chest is shining forward. We're going to keep a micro bend in that front knee so that we can continue to keep the activation of that front adductor and that front thigh. Our gaze will float up towards the ceiling. We'll stay here for one more breath, and then let's find our beach ball. Lifting that bottom arm, bringing your top arm down like you're holding a big beach ball. Inhale to come all the way back up. Pivot your front toes so that you're parallel with your back toes. And we'll come into Skandasana, drawing your hands into prayer at heart center. Find an inhale to create that lengthened space in your spine. And then as you exhale, we're going to bend into that right knee, left leg straightens, left toes lift. If you're low, stay low. If you're up higher, stay up higher. It's whatever's accessible for you. We're going to follow our breath and move over to the left side. Inhaling as we lift, exhaling as we bend. Keep that right leg straight, right toes are flexed. Inhale to come back to the right side. We'll do that one more time with control. Inhale to come back to the left. Keep that right leg straight. Very slowly, we'll inhale to find five-pointed star. Start to press yourself up. Be strong here. Use those legs, use those feet. Once you've landed here, lift your arms, five-pointed star. And then as we exhale, we'll find warrior two. Pivot those front toes back towards the top of the mat. Back foot is parallel with the back edge of the mat. Bend into that front knee. Soften your shoulders. Warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. We'll take one more big breath in here. Exhaling as we cartwheel our back hand down to frame our front foot. Back toes will pivot up for low lunge. We'll step that front foot back to meet our back foot in high plank. And we'll find a modified side plank here, or side plank, on that left side. So you can drop your left knee and roll your hips open, pressing the mat away with that left hand. Right hand will lift. Or you can roll over to the outer edge of that left foot, stack or stagger your feet, pressing the hips up here, lifting that right hand, pressing the mat away with your left. And then slowly come back to your high plank. Exhale to roll down to your low plank. Inhale, up dog. Press the mat away with your hands. The tops of the feet will press into the mat. Your knees and your thighs are lifted. And then step back, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Big breath in. Big breath out. Come to your tiptoes and make your way to the top of your mat, forward fold. I'm going to come to the opposite side so we can face each other. We're going to come into Malasana or Yogi Squat. So staying where you are in forward fold, we're going to heel toe our feet slightly wider than hips distance. Toes are pointing to the outer edges of your mat. Go ahead and draw your hands into prayer at heart center. If you need to have a block available to drop your sits bones low onto, you can. If not, that's okay. You don't need to have one. If you would like one, you can absolutely use it. So when you're ready, we're going to bend deeply into the knees as we drop our sits bones low. If your heels are not touching the mat as you bend, get a blanket or a towel, roll it up, and stick it under the heels of your feet so that your heels are connected. We want to be long through our spine here, pressing our heart space out in front of us. Our elbows are pressed into the insides of our knees. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Malasana. excrement pose. The pose for letting it all go. This is the pose that I was assigned in my yoga teacher training. It's like they knew me or something. It's like they knew I have a hard time letting things go. And it's a beautiful pose to practice. It's also the most natural pose for our bodies to come into. We just forget that over here. But if you were to travel outside of America, you would see people in this position to cook and clean and work and wait for the bus and go to the bathroom and deliver babies. We just lose it. If you've ever watched your toddlers or a toddler play, this is how they sit down to get to their toys. It's a really great pose for us as far as letting go. It's also very grounding. It's great for our hips and our knees and our ankles and our back. It's a really beautiful pose to come into, and we come into it with some modifications. Now, if you're in Malasana and this is accessible to you, we'll move through it. If what we come into is not accessible, stay here in Malasana if that's okay, if that's good for your body. We're going to bring our right tricep to the outside of our right knee. Place your right hand on the ground, and then we can take a little bit of a twist here, lifting those left fingertips up towards the ceiling as we look up to follow the fingers. And you can stay here, opening the shoulders, or maybe you find a bind, bringing that left hand behind you, clasping the fingers of the right hand, continuing to look up here. We'll stay for 2 breaths. And then if you're in a bind or your hand is extended, go ahead and release your bind here. We'll bring our hands all the way back in, set up for our opposite side. Left tricep comes to the outside of that left knee. We can bring the left hand to the ground or to the mat. Lift your right fingertips tall, stretching everything open here, or find your bind. Bringing that left arm behind you, clasping the fingers with your right hand, continuing to find that twist. Bringing your gaze up towards the ceiling. Then slowly release your bind. Bring your hand back in if it's extended. We're going to come back to this Malasana pose. One more time, this yogi squat. Take a big breath in. Let it go. And then drop your hands and straighten those legs. Heel toe your feet back together. We're going to inhale to a flat back or a half lift. And then exhale to fold. Inhale to roll everything up. Urdhva Hastasana, lift up, look up. Exhale your hands together in prayer, heart center, Anjali Mudra. Find another big breath in here. And another big breath out. Inhale to circle sweep your arms up. Exhale to swan dive forward, forward fold. This time we're going to step our right leg back on our mat. Nope, our left leg, not your right. Our left leg back on our mat for low lunge. So right foot will step back. We're going to set up for that runner stretch here. So go ahead and drop your left knee and begin to send your sits bones down to your foot, your left foot. So we're sending our sits bones low and we're bowing deeply over that front right leg. Again, keep your left hand on the mat. If you need a stronger stretch or a deeper stretch in that right leg, gently twist or grab onto the outer edge of your right foot and just gently twist until you are able to feel that stretch happening in that right leg. We'll release the foot here, come back to your low lunge, tucking your back toes, lifting your back knee. From here, we're going to come into our warrior 2. So seal that front foot down on your mat, and when you're ready, begin to pivot your back foot down, seal it to your mat, and then blossom your arms up and open, warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Again, that front knee is tracking open here, reaching towards the pinky toe side of your front foot. The front knee is trying to reach the back knee, so we're active through that front thigh and front quad group of muscles there. We're going to continue to find our straight line. So the heel of our front foot is right in line with the arch of our back foot. Our arms are at shoulder height. Our gaze is over our extended front fingertips. We'll settle into this warrior 2. We want to feel the heat rise, the tapas, move through us slowly, from the feet to the top of the head. Creating that internal heat is another great way to help kill bacteria, kill viruses, kill all the stuff that we don't want in there. Also, moving that stagnant energy is another really great way to clear the body or detoxify the body. Let's find Exalted Warrior. Stay where you are. Front arm will rotate towards the back leg, and the back arm will rotate up towards the ceiling. Warrior 2. Peaceful warrior, reach forward, flip your palm, and take it back. Warrior 2. Extended side angle pose. Your front arm can come on top of your front thigh, or that front arm can come down long beside your front calf, whatever feels better for you here. Inhale to come all the way back to your Warrior 2. And then we'll straighten that front leg, reach forward, feel your back hips stick out towards the back of your mat, and then fold forward for Trikonasana, triangle pose. Keep a micro bend in that front knee to really activate that front adductor, and gently roll the shoulders to stacking as your heart shines forward. And then you can stay here, or maybe you find that beach ball. Lifting that bottom arm. Embrace the shakes here, friends. Listen, it happens to me. It happens to you. I have a great bar teacher. It happens to you. It just means you're activating those muscles, or you fatigue those muscles, and that should be applauded. So embrace all those shakes. Inhale to come all the way back up. We're going to pivot our front toes so that we're parallel with our back toes here. Lifting our arms tall for space. Exhaling to drop our arms shoulder height, and finding a wide-legged forward fold. You can drop your hands to your pillow, to your block, to your mat. You can bring your hands to your ankles, the top of the head to the floor, or as low as it will go. If this is where you would like to find an inversion, a headstand or handstand, and that's accessible and in your practice, go ahead and do that here. Or just stay in this wide-legged forward fold. We'll be here for 3 more breaths. And then very slowly begin to rise, coming first to your flat back. And then following the breath all the way back up to your 5-pointed star. Inhaling and lifting your arms as you go. Exhaling to that Warrior 2, pivoting your front toes back towards the front of your mat, sinking deeply into that front knee. Take one more big breath in here, and a big breath out. Cartwheel your hands down to frame that front foot, back toes will pivot. And then we're going to step back to our high plank. We're going to find our side plank on our right side this time. Again, you can drop your right knee and roll over, pressing yourself up onto the right hand, extending that left arm into the air. Or you can step back to your high plank and roll over onto the outer edge of that right foot, stacking the feet or staggering your feet, continuing to press the mat away with your right hand, lifting those hips, pressing your left fingertips to the ceiling any amount higher. Slowly come back to your high plank. And we'll find our chaturanga or our baby cobra here. Last time we went through a full chaturanga, we can also come through baby cobra. Drawing the elbows in with control, coming down to your bellies. Untucking your toes, taking the weight out of your palms. Inhaling to rise. Exhaling down. And then stepping back to your downward facing dog. It's whatever's most accessible for you or feels the best today. Sometimes we need something a little more strenuous, and sometimes we need something a little gentler, and it's okay. Whatever day it is for you, we'll find it. Take a big breath in,
And slowly step, hop, or float, make your way to the top of your mat. Forward fold. We'll find gorilla pose here. Bringing the feet slightly wider than hips distance. We're going to take our hands as we lift our feet and bring our hands underneath our feet, toes coming to our wrist crease. Inhale to a flat back. Exhale to fold forward, allowing our elbows to go wide, dropping the head low. And slowly release your gorilla pose, finding forward fold, bringing your hands out from underneath your feet. Maybe bringing your feet slightly back together. We'll inhale to our flat back here, Ardha Uttanasana. I'm so close to this. Exhale, fold. Inhale, circle, sweep those arms up, reach up, look up. Exhale your hands together. Prayer heart center, Anjali Mudra. Take a big breath in and a big breath out. Connect back to your intention here. Remember the intention that we said at the beginning of class. Come back to that here, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe you can repeat it to yourself 3 times. And then from here, we're going to come into tree pose with some variations. So when you're ready, I'm going to move my blanket out of the way. When you're ready, we're going to begin to root down into our left foot. So we want to feel all 4 corners of our left foot press into the mat. Your hands can be in prayer. Maybe you're using a wall to steady yourself or to help balance. Your hands can be on your hips. It's whatever feels best for you here. We're going to kickstand that right heel to the inside of our left ankle. And then when you feel balanced and ready and steady, we're going to bring that right foot to the inside of our left calf. And then up to the inside of our left thigh. I try to encourage my students not to put your foot directly onto your left knee. Most of our knees don't bend side to side. It's a good way to end up in the hospital, and God forbid that right now, right? So once you've found that right foot, wherever you've landed, grow your branches. Tree pose. Feel that left foot rooted to your mat, rooted to our earth. And then from here, we'll find our stork pose, pivoting that front knee towards the front of the mat. Let's take just a moment here and extend that right leg in front of us. 2 breaths, lifting that right leg, lift it higher, feel those shakes. And then we'll transition to warrior 3. Keep your right leg lifted, and then very slowly start to send that right leg behind you, folding forward at your hips, making a T shape with your body. Your hands can be in your prayer heart center, they can be in airplane arms, long behind you or long in front of you, whatever feels better here. Work to square those hips, drawing the pinky toe side of your back foot towards the mat. And then slowly rise. 1 more stork. You can do it. Bring that right leg with you. Lift those arms. Come up. Exhale to bring everything down. Shake it out. Nice. So we'll do that 1 more time. This time rooting down through our right foot once we've got everything shaken out and loose. So rooting through, again, the 4 corners of your right foot. We're going to bring the left foot in. Our hands can be wherever feels comfortable. So go ahead and bring that left heel into your right ankle, maybe into your right shin, up to your right thigh, whatever feels better for you here. And then we'll lift the arms to grow our branches once we've landed. Connect to your breath here and connect to the roots, to the anchor that is that right foot. We'll find stork pose. In stork pose, we do move our hands a little bit to you. We're going to bring our pinkies parallel. The palms of our hands are facing behind us. Lifting that left leg, left foot is flexed. And then just for fun, Let's extend that left leg. Feel those shakes. 2 breaths. And then slowly fold forward, finding warrior 3. Got a couch behind me, so I'm going to move, bear with me. But we'll send that left leg out behind us as we fold forward, mindful that we're squaring our hips here, drawing the pinky toe side of that back foot down towards the mat, making that T shape with our bodies. Slowly come all the way back up. Bring that left leg with you. Exhale, everything comes down. Take your legs out here. And then when you're ready, we'll inhale our arms up. Grow tall through your fingertips. Exhale to swan dive forward. Forward fold. We're going to step back to our downward facing dog here and find one more chaturanga or baby cobra. Shifting forward to our high plank. Rolling down to our low plank. Up to our up dog. Knees and thighs are lifted. And then step back to your downward facing dog. Take a big breath in. And a big breath out. We'll go ahead and come onto our knees. Cross your ankles and send your sit bones back and down. We're going to do a little bit of core work before we come into some deep stretches, and then that'll be a wrap. So whenever you're ready, we're going to work in both variations today. Hope that you can see me. Listen, follow my voice. It's really all you need. So as you know, boat pose is a pose where we have a very flat back. We rock back onto our tailbone. Our legs are lifted. Shin are parallel to the mat. Our arms are long beside us, and we kind of hold it here. Well, we're going to do something a little bit different, but with the same idea. So go ahead and make your way all the way down onto your backs. And then once you've landed on your back, we're going to bring our hands slightly under our sits bones. Go ahead and lift your legs into the air. And if you need to adjust the hands underneath your sits bones, you can do that here. Flex your feet so your feet are pointing towards the ceiling. We're going to take a big breath in. Exhaling to drop our legs halfway. Stay here with your legs down halfway for 2 breaths. Once you've landed those 2 breaths, drop down to hovering for 2 breaths. And then very slowly, pull those legs back in. Perfect. We're going to come into a different variation here, coming into first position. So the toes are wide and the heels are together. Big breath in. Exhale to drop your legs to halfway for 3 breaths. And then very slowly drop those legs to hovering for 3 in your first position. Toes are wide, heels together. 3 breaths. And slowly pull those legs all the way back up. One more round. Big toes together, heels are wide. Take a big breath in. Exhale to drop your legs halfway. 4 breaths. Embrace the shakes. Drop to hovering. 4 breaths. Inhale to bring those legs back up. Exhale to hug your knees into your chest. Uttanasana. Squeeze them in here. Hug them in, hug them in. Beautiful. We're going to straighten our legs out in front of us and reach our arms above us like we're being pulled in separate directions here. Really big, long, nice stretch of the entire body. And then planting the feet on the mat, we're going to point our knees towards the ceiling and come into a reclined figure 4 pose or reclined pigeon pose. So with your left foot planted, we're going to cross our right leg over. Keep that right foot flexed. Bring your hands either behind your left thigh or in front of your left calf. Keep that left foot flexed And start to pull your knees into your chest here. Hug everything in. Feel that stretch happening in that right leg, into the glute, the hamstring, the hip. Gently pulling the legs into the chest here. Supta, reclined pigeon. So it would be Supta, Supta, Rajakopatasana. My child is doing some type of stealth movement here. Please don't interrupt. I'll be done in just a minute. And then go ahead and release your legs. Plant the soles of your feet on the mat in front of you and gently drop your knees side to side. And we'll switch sides. So keep that right foot planted, cross your left leg over. We're gonna lift our shoulders and grab onto the back of the right thigh or in front of the right shin. You don't have to lift your shoulders. Sometimes to get a better grip, I do. Keep those feet flexed and begin to pull your knees into your chest, working to open up and release the hip, the glute, and the hamstring of that left leg. If it's helpful while you're here and while we're in most deep stretches, I encourage my students to send their breath to those places that are a little stuck or a little tight. So if you're having a lot of resistance in this pose, as long as it's not painful, I encourage you to send your breath there. Send your breath to the places that need your attention. And literally what that means is, as you breathe in, send your awareness and all of your attention to that place that feels stuck or feels tight. And as you breathe out, see yourself releasing that stagnation, releasing that tension. Just the thought of sending the breath to our muscles and to our tissues can help to oxygenate those places and truly release any tension or stuckness that we might have there, yeah? So we'll stay here for 2 more good deep breaths. And then slowly release your legs here. Again, plant the soles of your feet onto the mat. Windshield wiper those legs back and forth. And then from here, we're going to come into fish pose. There are several sources that I have read when I've studied fish pose. We do it a lot in my yin classes. And several sources have cited this pose as being the, quote, destroyer of all diseases. So what an appropriate stretch for us to practice right now. So staying on your backs, we can stay here. Some people access it from, please don't do that right now. From a seated position, we're going to access this from our backs. You can bring your legs into bound angle, pressing the soles of your feet together, or keep your legs extended out in front of you, whatever feels better for you. We're going to lift ourselves slightly onto our forearms and work to bring our hands under the small of our back, under our waist, down towards our glutes. Draw your shoulders together, draw your elbows together. Again, feet can be extended in front of you or in bound angle, drawing your knees towards the mat. And then from here, we're going to begin to extend backwards, dropping the crown of our head, the top of our head, down towards the mat. I will say that we do have lymph nodes in our chest as well, and this is a great way to open up the space in our chest and shoulders and release any tension or stagnation that we may have in those lymph nodes, especially when we practice fish pose in a yin type setting and stay here for 5 minutes or more. Now, if this is not accessible for you, grab your blanket, grab your pillow, maybe even a bolster, put it under your back and allow the crown of your head to fall back over your pillow or back over your bolster. If your knees are out, if your feet are in bound angle, draw your knees back in and very slowly untuck your head, come all the way down to your back. We'll squeeze our knees into our chest here, Uttanasana, hug everything in, And then we're going to rock and roll our way up to our sits bones, up to our easy seat for a few deep stretches before we come into our final Shavasana. So go ahead and make your way onto your mat, onto your sits bones. You want to come onto the meat, or not to the meaty part, the bony parts of our flesh bones, moving the fleshy parts away. Come onto the bony parts of our sits bones and move the fleshy parts away. I feel like that was not well said. I'm so sorry. This whole thing has been just a lot, so I appreciate you for bearing with me. So Paschimottanasana, we're going to extend our legs out long in front of us. The soles of our feet are flexed, the toes are pointing back at us. We lift our arms as we inhale here to find space in our spine. And then as you exhale, start to fold forward, hinging forward at your hips, keeping your back as flat as it can be. And then when your hamstrings begin to tell you that's far enough, we'll drop our hands and round our head down. Now, if we're coming into a forward fold and we can access our toes, but our knees are bent up and in, we're not getting the most therapeutic benefit from this pose. We want to go to that first edge, that first point of resistance. So if this is as far as your arms can go today, you know what? That's great. Stay there. Don't go any further. If you need to go a little bit further, you can bring a block in front of your feet, and instead of reaching for the feet, you can find and access your block and then drop your head forward. We'll stay here for 2 breaths wherever you are. And then we'll inhale to our flat back. Stay here. Exhale to fold any amount deeper. Release your block, release your feet, and very slowly begin to make your way all the way up. Lift your arms. Exhale to prayer at heart center. Keep that right leg extended. Find Janu Sirsasana. Tuck your left toes to the inside of your right thigh, sit nice and straight. Inhale to lift those arms up tall. We're going to exhale for a seated twist here. Again, dropping that left hand behind us. Right hand comes to the top of your left knee, your left thigh. We're going to stay here for 1 big breath, growing tall as we inhale, twisting a little deeper as we exhale, knowing that when we come into twists in yoga, we're helping to stimulate those abdominal organs, which will help aid in digestion, elimination, metabolism. Again, getting rid of all that stagnant energy that we don't want, that doesn't help us to build any kind of immunity to the things going on around us. Inhale to bring your arms back up, switch sides, left leg extends, right feet, hopefully you have 1, right foot tucks. Exhaling as we find that twist, right hand drops, left hand comes to the top of your right knee. Big breath in to grow tall. Big breath out to twist. Inhale, come back to center, lift your arms. We'll exhale to bound angle pose. Keeping that right foot where it is, we'll bring our left foot in. Soles of the feet are together on the mat, knees are drifting towards your mat. If you have a lot of space underneath your knees here, you can bring your block underneath your knees to give yourself a little extra support. We're going to loop our big toes with our peace fingers in just a minute, not right now. And then we'll sit up nice and straight, bring our chest over our feet, elbows will go wide, and we'll fold forward. Again, please, friends, listen to your bodies. If you're not going any further than this, stay there. If you're not going any further than this, stay there. Wherever your body is perfect. My teachers, my yoga instructors all said, you're at where you're at, and that is that. And that's so beautiful and so true. So take your peace fingers, loop your big toes, sit up nice and straight, chest comes out forward, elbows go wide, forehead drops, bound angle pose, Baddha Konasana. Beautiful. Inhale to come all the way back up. Bring your knees in. We'll windshield wiper our legs back and forth. This is our pose or practice of releasing. Yeah, we've really targeted a lot of our areas that hold our lymph. We've done a lot of forward folding. We've done our fish pose to really get things moving. And so I hope that it makes you feel a little bit better. So when you're ready,
You have just a minute. We're going to come into Shavasana, our final Shavasana. If you'd like to join me in a supine twist, you can do that. If you'd like to take another inversion, maybe you want to fly some of your poses, you can do that. Maybe you take a shoulder stand, you can do that here too. Either way, go ahead and make your way all the way down onto your backs or come into your inversion, whatever feels better for you here. If you're coming down onto your backs to do your supine twist, go ahead and draw your knees into your chest. And then extend your left leg long in front of you, holding onto that right knee. We'll bring our right knee across the body, stacking our hips, squaring our shoulders. Right arm will extend out to the right, and our gaze, our focus, will come over those extended right fingertips. And slowly come back to center, squeeze that right knee back into your chest one more time. And then we'll bring the left knee in, extending the right leg long in front of us. Again, once we have that left leg in, use your right hand to bring the left knee across the body. Stack your hips, square your shoulders, and bring your gaze, your focus, your attention over your extended left fingertips. Again, twists. Yeah, so we're getting that massage of our internal organs. And then energetically, when we think of a twist in yoga, one of my favorite yoga teachers said that to think about this like you're wringing out a washcloth. Yeah, so when you have a washcloth that's oversaturated and you wring it out to get the excess liquid out, we're doing the exact same thing here in our twist in yoga. We're getting rid of the things that don't serve us, whether it's stagnated energy, whether it's anxiety or depression, or we're holding on to relationships or thoughts that aren't serving us. We take the time in our yoga practice to twist and let all of that energy, let all of those negative thoughts go. It's the same kind of thing. Slowly come back onto your back. We'll squeeze our knees back into our chest one more time. Everything comes in. And then we'll make our way into Shavasana. So I'm not going to stay on my back the entire time, but I am going to hold space for you for Shavasana. So wherever you are, go ahead and extend your legs out long in front of you. We're going to bring our arms down beside us. If it feels good and you have one, maybe bring a bolster or a pillow behind your knees for support on your lower back. And so you'll stay here on your back with your legs extended in front of you and your arms long beside you. Go ahead and draw the tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Relax your jaw. Soften the space between your eyebrows and feel your eyes beginning to sink into your face. We come to Shavasana, corpse pose. At the end of every yoga practice, in an effort to get the body and the mind and the spirit ready for whatever happens next. For quiet rest, not contemplation, not reflection, allowing our thoughts to float by us like clouds in the sky, knowing that they're there, but for the next few moments, ignoring their content. As we stay here in quiet rest and final Shavasana. Slowly begin to bring your awareness back to your breath. Feel the gentle rise and fall of your belly. Allowing the breath to move through you like a wave at sea. Inhaling as the wave gets taller and exhaling as the wave breaks on shore. And when you're ready, begin to bring that awareness into the body, finding gentle movements of your fingers and your toes. Maybe you gently rock your head side to side. And then pull your knees into your chest and make your way over onto your right side. Slowly making your way back to your easy seat. Drawing your hands together in prayer heart center. Pressing the tips of your thumbs into your heart space. Pressing the tips of our thumbs into our heart space is a great way to remind us all things we have to feel gratitude for. Gratitude for our bodies and our space to practice. Gratitude for this life, no matter the chaos she may bring time to time. May you all be happy. May you all be peaceful. May you all be free from suffering. Thank you for sharing your yoga practice with me. Thank you for being so patient if you lasted this long through all of the dogs and the children and the cats. Namaste, friends. Thank you.